Hey, this is Leo for Actualized.org, and in this quick self-help segment, we're going to talk about how to overcome shyness. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go into this topic completely in depth because this is a deep topic, but what I am going to do is I'm going to provide you with some really practical things that you can start doing right now to get this problem handled in your life. So let's talk about this, shyness. There's various forms of shyness that we can be talking about. Shyness in school, shyness in business, shyness in your dating life, shyness in your social life with friends. So let's break down each one of these and give you a couple of practical techniques, you could say, tactics that you could use to start overcoming this shyness problem. First thing, and this is going to be a deeper idea, is that it's all in your mind. This idea of shyness, you got to get it out of your mind that you're a shy type of person. You're not a shy type of person. You're someone who's been shy in the past. That doesn't mean that you have to be shy for the rest of your life or that you were born shy. This is a really silly and very dangerous idea, is to buy into this concept that you are somehow a shy person, a shy personality type, an extreme introvert, and that you can't have success. In fact, what I can inspire you with my story, hopefully, is that I was extremely introverted, and I still consider myself to be a really extreme introvert, but I've been able to make a lot of progress in that to the point where if I'm interacting now, most people cannot tell that I'm an introvert. In fact, they think that I'm an extrovert because I've worked on my social skills. So first thing you got to realize is that this is a problem that you can totally handle. This is not something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. So get that into your mind right now. I want that seed planted. And then we can find ways to make it sprout and to make it grow. So let's talk about this. What are some actual things that you could do? Well, to really overcome shyness, you have to start to overcome your self-image. And you have to start to overcome this idea that people are looking at you and people are really caring about what you're doing. The fundamental problem is that you care too much about what other people think of you. And that is something that you're going to have to numb down through a process of progressive desensitization. Is that you're going to go through and whatever technique you use that I'm going to give you here, is you're going to numb yourself down to this idea that it's important what people think of you. Because right now you care too much. And maybe because you care so much about how people think of you, you stutter, or you don't make eye contact, or you don't go up and you introduce yourself, or you're afraid of approaching someone and putting yourself out on the line because you either fear rejection, you fear embarrassment, you fear that people will laugh at you, you fear that people will think that you're weird, or any number of these kind of doom and gloom scenarios. The fact is that that's something that you've constructed in your mind. And I know because I have this. I've had it really bad in the past, and I still have it to some degree now. It's still hard for me to sometimes go up to a stranger and introduce myself, or to go on the line and go, like hit on a girl in a club or in a bar. That's still challenging. It can be. So first of all, realize that you're totally normal and that there are a lot of people in the world, millions of people that are caught in this situation. And the reason is that they haven't gone in there and they haven't numbed themselves down to it. So the only way that you're really going to overcome shyness is by actually going out and interacting with people. You can't really avoid that. What you can do is kind of build up gradually so that it's not as painful or as scary as it would be if you just, for example, went up and you had to give a speech in front of 1,000 people in an auditorium. That would be so scary that you would probably throw up and you would never do it. Whereas if you start yourself small and baby step your way up over a long period of time, then you can get this problem handled. So, for example, if you are shy in the context of work, like you're not asserting yourself at work, and you know that other people are more involved, their voice is being heard more in group meetings, etc. What you got to do is you got to start opening yourself up. Start very small. So what can you do? What's one thing you could do? Well, you could maybe find one colleague or two colleagues and just make friends with them and start building up relationships with them. And maybe you could start going to lunch or meeting up with them during coffee breaks or at the water cooler and just start chatting them up. This is something that you're going to have to train yourself to do. right, is you're going to have to push your comfort zone a little bit, because naturally you're not going to want to go and just have some idle chit chat with somebody at the water cooler, or maybe ask them to lunch. Maybe what if they reject you? You're going to have to put yourself out on a limb. It's a small limb. The fact is that most people will not reject you. You'll be surprised at how good they respond to you. And even if you're socially uncalibrated, they'll still respond well to you in most cases. And even if they don't, again, this goes back to the problem of why do you care so much? Why do you care so much that someone doesn't want to go to lunch with you or snubs you at the water cooler? It's not that big of a deal. And you have to get yourself accustomed to that. Because right now, if you're very sensitive to it, if you haven't got thin skin, then that's going to be painful. But you got to put yourself out there and try it. So start small. And then once, for example, you've got some lunch relationships built, you're going out with people at lunch, maybe then you're going out first with one other person, so it's just the two of you, then maybe you invite a third person. Then maybe you hold a weekly lunch with your team of 10 people or 5 people, and all of a sudden you start kind of hobnobbing with them, interacting with them in kind of a more casual lunch environment. Then all of a sudden when you're at work in a group meeting, then you can be more assertive there, and it'll just transfer over, and you'll get better and better and better at it. This is something you're going to have to practice. So that's the work situation. How about shyness with the opposite sex? How do you overcome that problem? That's something I've been working on for the last few years. Really big problem for me, because I really wasn't involved with relationships or dating when I was growing up in high school or in college, because I just simply chose not to. That's something that was not on my priority list. I viewed it as a distraction for me. And that came back to bite me in the ass, because then I realized that eventually I have to get involved in it, and now I don't have the skills and the experience that I would have developed had I been in that environment. Plus, I would have had more opportunity to get exposed to it through school and college. Those are good places to get exposed. So if you are scared there and you are shy, you have to put yourself on the line again. If you're a guy, go out to bars, go out to clubs, hang out with other guy friends and see what they're doing and copy them. And go approach girls. And yes, it's going to be painful, it's going to be scary, but you have to do it. That's the only way that you're going to get that part of your life handled. And that can be a really involved process that I can't go into here, but just realize you have to go out there and put yourself out on the line. And the worst case scenario is you get shot down, and you know what? It literally does not feel nearly as bad as you make it out to be in your mind. So you just have to go out there and put yourself on the line. For women don't pursue guys as much as guys pursue girls, so it's a little bit different. But again, it's still the same situation. If you want to be more assertive, if you want to be more authentic, you have to go out there and put yourself on the line. So start small and build your way up. The same situation applies to like your social circle of friends. You just have to push yourself to do a little bit more in each interaction. So for example, if you go out with your girlfriends to lunch, and you feel like you're you're kind of like the fifth wheel in the group, and you're not serving much of a purpose, and you're not really assertive, and you're kind of meek, then you got to realize that situation, and in that moment, step it up and try to push it a little bit. Try to get outside your comfort zone, and do that every time you're in an interaction, and eventually you're going to open up. You're going to start to open up. I've actually found a really good way to break your shyness is to go and talk to cashiers. For example, when you're buying your groceries, or you're buying your gas, or you're at a store and you're buying something, talk to the cashiers and chat them up, because they're always friendly, they're bored, they have nothing to do, and they're not going to reject you. So they pretty much have to talk to you, and they have to be nice. So go up there and talk with them and kind of force yourself to actually start a conversation. Don't just say, oh, hi, how you doing, and then kind of end it at that. Actually, like maybe ask them a question or tell them something about yourself. What I've really found extroverts do is it's not so much that they ask a lot of questions, it's that they're really so comfortable being themselves and being expressive that they kind of draw you in with their magnetism. So what they do is they talk a lot about themselves. And it's usually like stupid stuff that if you're an introvert, you would ask yourself and you say, why would you even talk about that? But the fact is that for an extrovert, it doesn't matter. They just blurt it out. They don't have those filters in place like we do, like introverts. So for example, if you're standing there in a grocery store and you're checking out, maybe you make a little comment. Like you make a little comment as to what the clerk is wearing. Maybe you poke fun at that person, or you just make a sly little comment, or you mention something that you saw on TV or in the news. You mention sports, you mention something that's on your mind. You can even just mention how you're feeling. You can walk in there, and it doesn't matter, you don't have to pretend to be happy. You can walk in there and say, you know what, I've had a shitty day. I lost my keys, and then I ran out of gas, and now I'm here at the grocery store, and you didn't have the thing that I wanted, and this sucks. And you can just say that, and the other person, it doesn't matter. Even if it's negative, what you're saying, they'll still respond to it, and that'll actually spark up a conversation. And then, of course, you can also ask questions and get a conversation going that way. So start small and then just build your way up, and make a little habit of doing that all the time. I found that that's like probably one of the best ways to break out of your shyness. Start talking to people that you're interacting with in the real world as you're out and about doing your errands, and kind of force yourself to get those conversations to be a little bit longer. Usually we try to like cut things down, like we don't talk to the waitress, we don't talk to our bank clerk, we don't talk to the gas station attendant, because now like we say like, oh, what's the point? But if you're an introvert, there is a big point. You talk because, first of all, you're developing the skill, and second of all, you're going to notice that you're actually going to enjoy your day more and your interactions more when you're actually having and striking up these conversations. Because sometimes you'll strike up a conversation and you'll find that it's a lot more interesting than you realized it could be. Like you start on a topic like weather, which is boring, and then all of a sudden, like the cashier will tell you that, oh, she just got married, or he'll tell you that, oh, he just bought this thing, and it's like something cool. Maybe he can add some value to your life, and maybe you can add some value to his life. And it ends up being a win-win. So those are some practical techniques. I think some other things that you can do is you got to immerse yourself in groups of people. Put yourself into organizations or little groups where you can actually go out there and interact with people. A big problem nowadays when everyone is on the internet and locked up at home is that we're just too isolated. And so maybe that's the problem that you have, is that you don't have enough people to interact with. So a way to break up that shyness: take the initiative and join a group of some kind. One group that you can join, for example, is Toastmasters, which is a public speaking group, which will also help you overcome the fear of public speaking. It's a really friendly environment. They have Toastmasters literally all across the world, in every city. Hundreds of these organizations, thousands of them, little small clubs that you meet with once a week, and you just talk. It's very friendly, very supportive, easy group to join, and it's also very cheap. And then there are other groups like this. Find a group that really holds and aligns with your interests. So you can go to some place like meetup.com, and you can search for meetup groups literally on any topic, on any subject, from overcoming addictions to to people that are into science fiction, to people that are into music, and to people that are into philosophy and like to talk about books. So you can find these different groups, and usually these are very supportive, friendly environments. Especially, it's very easy to get into them because they're aligned with your interests. So if you like to read books of a certain kind, maybe you like to read science fiction books, you can find a group of people that meet up every week and talk about science fiction books and break out of your shell that way. And that's a really good way to do it. So you got to get yourself involved with people. Be out there. Also, if you've got friends, go out with them at night. If they're going out to bars, they're going out to clubs, they're going out to laser tag or some sort of social events, go with them. I know as an introvert, there's a strong tendency to just want to say, no, that's not something I really want to do. It's not something I like to do. But you're going to really ask yourself, do you really want to overcome your shyness? Or do you want to be plagued by it for the rest of your life? Because I can guarantee you that it will hold you back in so many ways. That's why I had to overcome it. It'll hold you back in your dating life. It'll hold you back with quality friends, which really affect your happiness level in life. It'll hold you back from business opportunities. It'll hold you back at work. It'll hold you back at school. Just so many different ways. You don't want those areas in your life to be stifled. You want to be expressive, and you're going to be so much happier when you get rid of this whole shyness issue. You're going to be much less self-conscious. You're going to be out there. You're going to be relaxed and having fun. But realize it's going to take you a while to get there, and the best way to start is to get yourself out the door, get out of the house, talk to people. Put yourself on the line a little bit more each time. All right, that's going to do it, because this is a rapid, quick self-help segment. I'm going to leave it there. Go ahead, leave me your comments, and go check out Actualized.org for advanced self-development techniques. So I can cover this topic so much deeper on Actualized.org, where we really are going to talk about advanced level techniques that you can work on your inner game, on your psychology, and really work on a much deeper level to understand why you're shy, how to overcome it, and not only how to overcome it, but how to turn it into a strength of yours and take it to an amazing level where you go from introvert to extrovert, where you go from being shy to being the most outgoing person in your circle of friends. You can do that. It's out there. So go ahead, check it out, and I am signing off.